we've been traveling around Spain in our motorhome for the past 3.5 months or so, and we were so surprised at how many amazing parking places you can find with services such as grey water and black water disposal, free fresh water, sometimes even free electricity. And sometimes we just found just a really beautiful, quiet nature place with barely anybody around, or maybe nobody around at all. And we wanted to share with you guys our top 6 parking places.
What would qualify as a good parking space?
So, in my view, great view. Great view, so meaning somewhere preferably in the mountains for me, because I love mountains. Services are definitely important. They're not a must all the time, but every few days or so you will need to put water into your tanks. You will need to empty water.
I think it's also important to have to park in a quiet place where there are not too many people, to be surrounded by nature. Ideally not in a paved parking place, but grass around, or just the dirt road, to feel more like in nature. I would say that gravel. Sometimes it would matter for us to park somewhere where we are not under a tree, because solar, we will not get solar, and second, internet, we cannot connect to the internet. So yeah, because it's a satellite internet. Yeah, anything else you want to say about what qualifies a good space?
And for me, also, it's nice when you have somewhere to go outside, preferably hiking, but maybe also like a lake or something is also nice. So yeah, I don't like being just like in the middle of flat land. That's for me, but maybe some people like that. So let's start with number 6.
Torre de Cabdella, in between the mountains.
In the Pyrenees.
Qualifies as a great place parking, because one, it's kind of in between the mountains, so from wherever you park you can still see the mountains. It was not too hot, not too cold, it was quite nice. It was a grassy area, it was almost no one around. I think it's just one more motorhome. It had services like fresh water or grey water and black water disposal. So basically you parked in the middle of, it looked like someone's back, or just a field somewhere, but surrounded by mountains. And then you can stay there as much as you want, because you can empty your grey water or you can put fresh water. And I felt so relaxed there, because you open the door of the motorhome and it's just grass, and you see some mountains, and like, oh, it's almost kind of no one here. Super nice parking, specifically for motorhomes, like reserved just for motorhomes.
Yeah,
okay, numero
5. So number 5 is Cirat, which was close to Valencia, I believe. Well, maybe a couple of hours or so west of Valencia. It is next to this little tiny village, but just kind of above the village, and it's again a parking lot just reserved for motorhomes. It had services, so the freshwater intake, and you can get rid of the grey water and black water. The services were also not right next to the parking spot, and the parking lot was really big. It was in the forest, basically, like just surrounded by forest and in the mountains. So from there you can go into the little village, which is really cute, mostly abandoned, but maybe there's like one cafe or something that could be open sometimes, and the post office, which will never be open, and one pharmacy that was probably closed down years ago. But anyway, there are lots of hikes there. You can go to some waterfalls, you can go to some mountain views, and
we've been.
Yeah, we went, and we found a micro creature in the waterfall. Anyway, so it was just a really nice, peaceful place in the forest and in the mountains with all the services except electricity, but that's a rare find. So, number 4.
Number 4, This is an example of not a motorhome place, not even a place that we found on Park Fortnite, because the places that were on Park Fortnite were a bit not exactly in the place that we stayed. So this was Arenas del Rey. This was a lake, okay? But when we arrived there, we realized that there are so many places that you can park with a motorhome close to the lake. There are a few other vans or motorhomes a bit farther from the edge of the lake, in the more grassy, greeny area. It was a park. So we were thinking like, well, we put this motorhome to a bunch of rough terrain, so why don't we go more towards the water? So we went so much that we parked really close to the water and quite far from the other people with the vans and motorhomes. And man, we felt like that's just ours, almost, like, because it was a very small patch of land, and then from the window you can see the lake, you can see some mountains. I think it was the most quiet place we've been to, and it was so, like, when you get out of the motorhome you really feel like there's nothing around.
And the only reason we left was that it was going to rain and we didn't want to get trapped there or have the water level rise or get too muddy and we wouldn't be able to get out. And also I think we ran out of water, so this is of course, if it's not a parking lot for motorhomes, then you don't have the services. Though close to this place there was a motorhome parking just 20 minutes drive away, so with services, yeah, so you can go there, do your water change and then come back again. And it was just nice to be in the nature, and it had beautiful views of the mountains also, so really nice, really nice. This was also in the south of Spain, close to Granada.
Yep.
Number 3, La Picota. So, sometimes it's worth it to pay for motorhome parking. We didn't pay very often, and the maximum amount that we paid was €8, which was this parking lot. Per night, €8 per night, yeah. But this one included all the services. This one even had a toilet that was really clean that you could use. And it was just beautiful. It was in the mountains again. This one was right next to Picos de Europa National Park. Near it was a lookout that was incredible of Picos de Europa, and it was just outstanding. There were other hikes that brought you to some waterfalls. It was basically on this little ledge overlooking some mountainous area. Around us there was nothing but like just some grassy area for horses, and there were lots of baby horses when we were there. They were super cute. So it was extremely, like, very, very quiet. There was nobody there, and just beautiful, quiet, had services. That was the only time we paid €8 per night, actually. Other times we've paid €6 maximum.
Just to put in perspective, now we are on the coastline for some other reasons, and if you look how much it costs here, and like the shitty places where you stay like sardines, is like sometimes even €20 per night. It's incredibly expensive, and there for €8 you got an amazing, like, you felt like it's your own property in a way, because it was almost no one there, and it was so peaceful and quiet. And the man who was in charge of this, he had like a little bar area in the entrance of this place, with like just a few little things there. They were very nice people. Sasha is right, of course. It's not just because to have a place where you have services and be relaxed and quiet, but to have also access to some really nice places. So if you want to go, we went for like an hour or two, and then we discovered an amazing view of all of the Picos de Europa, and it was a forest with all kinds of creatures that they put there. It was just amazing. It cost €8. I thought we would stay for like a night or two. We stayed like 3 nights.
We stayed 3 nights, yeah.
Because we liked it so much, even though we were broke, we're like, but it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, it was so nice. Yeah, every once in a while it's worth it to pay for parking, especially if it's not that expensive.
Number 2. This is San Esteban del Valle. Valle. Big name for a small place. This was quite a small space. I think you could only fit like 6 or so motorhomes. But man, when we arrived there and we parked, we were like, why do they make this free for motorhomes when it's such a nice place? I mean, I'm so happy that they do that, but the view was spectacular. So spectacular that I think we ended up staying for like a week or so. I don't know, we stayed a long time there. But the view was amazing. You can see the mountains and snow on the mountains. I think it was the first time we got closer to snowy mountains. You had fresh water, you had grey water and black water disposal, and they were all quite clean. You know, it was quite clean. It was kind of busy because it was the Semana Santa, like a Holy Week in Spain. It was the craziest fucking week, and even then, it was not too bad. It was not too crowded, really. We got the nicest place at the edge of the parking for motorhomes, and this is one thing we don't understand. Like, how come some people parking like the worst places when there are so many nice places around? So we go to some place, and the best place that with the nicest view is not taken by anyone, and we're like, why? Thank you for that, but we have a big window, so it's so nice to see the mountains and everything. I don't know why some people don't do that, and some people even park close to like the water thing, like the toilet, basically. Like, why do you park there when you have other places? But anyway, that was also close to a little village, and that was more animated. There are more people there, maybe because also of the Semana Santa, but you can, you know, if you need something from a store, probably you can find there. We went for a walk around to other villages there, so if you could stay longer and do more hikes, probably you could, you know, go on top of some really cool mountains there, huh? You think, Sasha?
Yeah, probably. It was a little bit stormy when we were there, so actually we came there and we were like, oh, it's really beautiful. Then we woke up in the morning and we were like, wow, snowy mountains. There was actually, and this was kind of around the middle of Spain in Sierra Gredos, so we were surprised to see snow, and because it was in March, I think, or April even. April. I think it was in April. Yeah, so technically you're not really supposed to stay in these places more than just a few days, like usually like 3 days or so, but I don't think anyone checks these things, so, you know.
I mean, don't do anything bad. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now, after all of these places, I'm asking you, Sasha, what could be the first best top place for parking a motorhome and be like, I feel like in paradise now? Tell us, Sasha.
It's called Acebedo. Acebedo.
Why is this place so amazing?
It's just a really cool motorhome parking area, free, with services. It is close to Picos de Europa National Park. It is right next to a little village, like a real rural village. And it's on this like platform that's just surrounded by an area where, again, there were just lots of baby horses and their mamas, and amazing views of the nearby mountains, and many hiking trails that were just really cool, really super cool. So you had everything. You had services, you had water, you can get rid of your water, you have this beautiful grassy area. Yeah, it was not like a paved parking lot. There was almost nobody around. It was super quiet. Hiking. Nobody bothered us. Yes. There were things to do.
Mountains nearby, so everything.
Yeah, had everything. Yeah. So it was really cool. Acebedo, it's just like a little tiny village west of Picos de Europa, southwest, I believe. And we stayed there for a few days and we really enjoyed it.
So overall, I will say that in Spain, at least from our experience, you can find places to park the motorhome like everywhere. We didn't drive usually more than 1 or 2 hours, maximum 3 hours. That was a stretch to drive 3 hours to go from one place to another. And you can find motorhome places with services, motorhome places without services, or just places in nature where you can park. and it's full of them. It's absolutely full of them.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
probably every like few kilometers. Well, every like 20-minute drive, probably you can find another place. You just go and park for a night. The up and yeah, you have so many places. And actually, one thing we should also mention is that, if we haven't mentioned it already, is that sometimes even in the free motorhome parking areas, every once in a while you can also find electricity, which is really cool. There were a few that we ran into where you can just plug in for free and yeah, and just use the electricity. We don't need to do that because we have so many solar panels, but it's also really nice.
Yeah. And the last thing I will say is that yes, sometimes you'll find some places that are a bit dirty, when you go to the disposal of the water, because some people just badly manage their cassettes. Yes, some places are a bit crowded because it's weekend or whatever, but in general, from our experience, I mean, we stayed, most all places where we stayed, it was really relaxing, quite quiet, and quite clean. I mean, we used the fresh water to put in the bottles for drinking directly, no filters or anything. We are still alive and
Didn't get sick.
didn't get sick or anything, and didn't taste like anything but water.
Water. So that's about it for the parking, huh?
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Spain, for all your lovely services.
Places. And
Yeah,
mountains.
really nice places, really
Thank
nice
you
mountains.
for not destroying those mountains.
Yeah,
Yep.
for making some national parks and natural parks and
Yeah.
all kinds of things like that. So, muchas gracias,
Señores y
señores,
señoritas.
señoritas, y adiós.
Adiós. Hasta luego.
Hasta la vista, bebé.